Good day, everyone. You're welcome to this channel. This is with A Tutor. I'm in the person of Ajimai Derek. Today, we are going to treat the topic what? Payroll. I guess you have already treated taxes, and then our next topic is what? Payroll. So, when we talk of payroll, let me give this scenario. Any organization that you find yourself into, we are having what? Employees, meaning that the number of staff or the list of staff or the number of workers in that what organization. So a payroll is a document what? It's a document showing the list of staff members in the organization. Are we good? Great. So with this payroll, it is not just showing the number of staff in the organization, but it is also making sure and letting us understand what the amount of money that they are expected to earn, their total earnings, at the same time to what their total deductions and their net what earnings. So what payroll is actually doing is, payroll is not just showing us the list of staff in organizations, but rather it is helping us to know the amount or their total earnings in that what organization. Great. So for example, let's say we are having the list of staff what members here. We are having staff 1, staff 2, staff 3, staff 4, and staff 5. So each staff is earning, maybe staff 1 is earning 200, staff 2 is earning 400, staff 3 is earning 100, staff 4 is earning 230, and maybe staff 5 is earning what? 600. Are we good? Great. So the earnings of these staff, this is what payroll shows. So at times we are having a payroll table, a payroll check. Are we good? So it helps us to what? To understand whatever thing that we are doing in what? In organization. So payroll is a document, as I said earlier, having the list of staff members in an organization, showing up their total earnings, what they are expected to earn. Are we good? Great. And also their deductions and also their net worth earnings. So with payroll, you have to take note of these things, these key things. First, you have to take note of 1, gross earnings. Gross earnings. So, and then second one too, you have to take note of what? Your net earnings. Are we good? Great. So when we talk of gross earnings, I'm explaining this, and then later on we place the formulas there. So when we talk of gross earnings is when you earn an income before deductions are being what? Made. Are we good? Great. So in case we are having a list of staff, as I said earlier, staff. So the list of staffs here, staff 1, staff 2, staff 3, their income is, first one is having 300 cedis, second one is having 400, and then the third one is having 500. So before deductions are made, the money that they receive as an income is called what? Gross earnings. So in case you work or you are working in an organization and then they gave you an income of, let's say, 1,000 cedis, before you started spending the money, you would make this. Before you start spending the money, you start to make deductions. You get it? So the money that you receive before deductions are made is what is called what? Gross earnings. Are we good? Great. So the money that you will remain after deductions are made is what we call it what? Net earnings. Are we good? Great. So after receiving your income, so maybe you had an income of 1,000 cedis. So after receiving this income, if deductions are made like your tax or maybe any other thing, rent and everything, if all these deductions are made, the money that is remained is what is called what? Net earnings. Are we good? Great. So you have to note that we have these gross earnings and the net earnings, and then we have gross earnings, what it entails, or what gross earnings what entails. Are we good? Great. So with this, When we talk of gross earnings, so already it's stated here, so let me clean this one and then we start with everything. So when we talk of gross earnings, our gross earnings first consist of our basic pay. Basic pay. What is our basic pay? You see, in Ghana, we or in any country, at times any country pay per hour. The number of hours that you work, that's the number of that's the amount of money they are going to pay you per the number of hours that you have worked. And then in law, we have that we have to work 8 hours a day. So if you have to work 8 hours a day, meaning that an hour worked has its own hourly rate. Are we good? Great. So if I work per hour, it can be stated that my hourly rate can be what? 50 cedis per hour. Are we good? Yes. So if I work per hour and then my hourly rate, so per hour, each hourly rate is what? 50 what? Cedis. Are we good? So the basic pay is my number of hours worked in the normal number of hours worked multiplied by my hourly rate. So if I'm expected to work 8 hours a day, and mostly it is in law that everyone has to work 8 hours a day, meaning that your normal number of hours that you should work in a day is what? 8 hours. And then we pay according to you per hour. So in case if per hour is 50 cedis and you work 8 hours a day, you multiply the 8 hours by what? 50 cedis to get your what? Your basic what? Pay. Are we good? Great. So with this, our basic pay consists of first, our basic pay is our hours worked. Your normal number of hours worked multiplied by the hourly what? Rate. That will give you your what? Your basic what? Pay. You have to take note of that. Are we good? Great. And then our gross earnings also consist of overtime pay. Overtime what? Pay. Overtime what? Pay. With this overtime pay, if my normal number of hours that I should work in a day is 8 hours, meaning that if I exceed 8 hours, any hours that I work above 8 hours, it means I have overworked. That means overtime. Are we good? So if I'm expected to work 8 hours a day, or maybe today, and I work like 2 hours in addition to 8 hours, making it 10 hours, meaning that my 2 hours that is overworked has to be what? I have to be paid for that, because my normal number of hours is what? 8 hours, and I have overworked. So we have to also pay for overtime. Are we good? So in our times, there are some organizations that with your normal working days, they will pay you, but when you overworked, they have an amount of money that they pay you as to the number of hours that you overworked. Are we good? Great. So with this, since you are having this understanding, always this overtime pay is having what? The number of hours overworked by what? Your overtime hourly rate. So already they are going to give you your overtime hourly rate, and then you multiply it by the number of hours overworked when you are having your normal number of hours. So in case you're expected to work 8 hours in a day, and then you work 13 hours in a day, meaning that you have overworked 5 hours. Are we good? Yes. So that number of hours overworked multiplied by the what? Overtime hourly rate. That is when you get your overtime what? Pay. Are we good? Great. And then another thing that gross earnings entails is what? Allowances. Allowances. With these allowances, we have tax allowances and personal allowances to help you. So with allowances, here in the case that these allowances are meant to be given to you or they are just some incentives given to you to cater for what? Some things on your own. Are we good? So I hope we all heard that most of the government were paying nurses allowances. All these monies that have been paid to them were meant for them to take it to cater for some things. Are we good? Great. So at times you receive some benefit or fringe benefits in a way that all these fringe benefit comes in the form of what? Allowances. So with this side, we are not talking of tax allowances, but allowances that are meant to be given to you to cater for what? Some things. Are we good? Great. So since we've gotten to understand this, let's make sure. So this basic pay can either be your basic pay or your what? Salary. Let's take notes of that. So we get the understanding very well, and then we are good to go. So in continuation of that, we can get to know that at times too, when we are having our net earnings, your net earnings becomes your total deductions from your gross earnings. Are we good? Yes. Your net earnings becomes your gross earnings minus your total deduction. Let me take note of that. So your net earnings, as I told you earlier, that when you earn something, before you make up your mind to deduct something, what you have earned before deductions are made are gross earnings. So if you were able to get your gross earnings out of this, your net earnings becomes what? Your gross earnings minus your total what? Deductions. Are we good? Great. So this is what you have to take note of it. I'll be cleaning this soon, and then we will write the formulas together, and then we will explain them one after the other. Are we good? Great. So let's move to it as soon as what? Possible. So let's write the formulas here. So first, our net earnings. Let's take note of that. Our net earnings, as I said earlier, that our net earnings is equal to our gross earnings minus your total what? Deductions. And then second one too is, what is your gross earnings? As I explained earlier, that your gross earnings becomes what? Your basic pay. We all know how to calculate the basic pay. That is the normal number of hours worked multiplied by your hourly rate. Are we good? Great. And then your basic pay plus your overtime what? Pay plus what? Allowances. And I explained that this one, we are not talking of tax allowances, but allowances that are meant to help you to what? Get some benefit to cater for some expenses on your own. And then we are having this total deductions. So before you can find for net earnings, what are your total deductions? So your total deductions in this formula, your total deductions become first your total tax plus SNIT contribution plus all other deduction. So let's take note of these, because that's how it is, to get a better understanding. If you get these things, well, you are good to go. And what is our total tax? Our total tax is our regular tax. Our total tax is equal to our regular tax. Your regular tax plus your overtime what? Tax. So anytime you work overtime, you don't only earn overtime pay, you will also be deducted overtime what? Tax. Are you good? Great. So this regular tax is the the hourly or the basic pay, the amount of money that you earn as a basic pay, we have the tax that we calculate on that. Are you good? And then if you work overtime, you don't only earn, but you also what be deducted what tax. Are we good? Great. So as we continue, when you talk of taxable income, meaning that income that we can what charge tax on it. Are we good? So our taxable income becomes our regular income. A regular income can be your basic pay. Your regular income minus what? Allowances. Are we good? So these allowances are just the allowances as I talked about as the tax allowances. So you have to subtract the tax allowances from your regular income to get your taxable income. So this taxable income means that income that can be taxed or income that we can calculate tax on it. Are we good? Great. So with this, we can get to note that regular tax is calculated on taxable income. Take note of it. Take note of it. That regular tax is calculated on taxable income, meaning that income that can be taxed. Are we good? Great. And then your SNET contribution is calculated on basic income. So your SNET is calculated on your basic what? Income. Are we good? Great. So take note of these and I will explain them for you to get a better understanding. So as I said that since our net earnings is equal to our gross earnings minus total deductions, what do you have to find for? You have to understand that what will be my gross earnings. And I explained that your gross earnings is the basic pay that you are earning. And then if you had worked overtime, you have to add overtime what? Pay. If there's any allowances being given to you to cater for some things, you have to add what? Overtime, or you have to add allowances to it. And then if you want to find for your total deductions, what are your total deductions? Your total deductions are your total tax, your SNET, and all other deductions. What then is this your total tax? Your total tax includes your regular tax. What is your regular tax? You remember that in taxes, we were able to solve for personal income tax when we have our income that is being earned. Hope you are getting it. So this regular tax that you earn, or this regular tax will be the one or the personal income tax that you have to find when you are being given an annual income, as we did in the taxes, when you are being given a schedule. So you use this schedule to find for the regular tax depending on what? The amount of money that you have earned. Are we good? Great. And this your overtime tax means that your number of hours you worked or overworked. So if you're expected to work regularly for like 8 hours a day and you had worked 10 hours, the 2 hours addition to the 8 hours becomes your overtime what? Hours. Are we good? So your overtime hours multiplied by the overtime hourly rate is what will give you what? Your overtime what? Pay. But you have to multiply your overtime hourly rate tax or the overtime tax by what? The overtime pay to get what? The overtime tax. Don't be confused. Sometimes the formula is really confused. I really get the understanding with that, but don't be confused. Just get the understanding very well, and then you are good to go. So your taxable income is when you have to know that my regular income minus my allowances. Allowances is your tax allowances. Are we good? Great. And then you have to remember, you have to note that regular tax is calculated on taxable what? Income. Are we good? And then your SNET contribution is calculated on basic what? Income. So this is what you have to take note of it. You will dive more into it, so don't worry. I'll have to explain some things here. So in explanation, to your overtime tax. In explanation to this, let's solve a question here. The question says that Musa earns 50 cedis per hour for regular work. So what is, so example 1, Musa earns what? 50 what? cedis per hour for a regular work. So his hourly pay is what? 50 what? cedis. Very good. Great. And the question says if he does overtime, he is paid time and a half. Time and a half means 1.5. Very good. Great. So he also earns a commission of 5% on all sales above 80,000. On all sales above what? 80,000. So his quota is what? Sorry, not 80,000, rather about 8,000. Is 8,000 Ghana cedis. And then a bonus of 1%. So bonus of 1% on all sales. Are we good? Great. So if in a given week Musa worked for 49 hours and made sales of 10,000, determine his regular what? Earning. As I said, that every day the hourly the number of hours that you have to work is what? 8 hours. Meaning that if you are working for a week, excluding Saturday and Sunday, if you are working 8 hours a day and then you are working for 8 hours every day for a week, which is 5 days, if you multiply it by 5, you are getting what? 40. Are we good? So meaning that at the end of the week, the number of hours that you are expected to work was what? 40 what? Hours. But here in the question says he had worked 49 hours in a week. Here we don't know whether he had worked the 9 hours at Monday or Sunday. All that we know that he had worked overtime for what? 9 hours. Are we good? Great. So here's the case that the question wants us to find for what? His regular what? Earning. How do we find for his regular earning? His regular earning becomes his what? His basic what? Pay. What then is his basic pay? So his regular earnings is the number of hours that he was expected to work in a week. Was supposed to be 40 hours, because here we are saying that 8 hours is the number of hours they have to work for a what? A day. Someone asked, how did I know that I have to work 8 hours in a day? As I said earlier, the normal number of hours they have to work for a day is 8 hours. Are you good? Good. At times too, the question can state it. You good, but I have to know that the number of hours that I have to work for a day is 8 hours. So if the number of hours you have to work for a day is 8 hours, and you had worked for 1 week, excluding Saturday and Sunday, it means that by the end of the week, you should work what? 40 what? Hours. So 40 hours becomes the number of hours worked. So 40 hours. And how do we find for our regular earnings? So you multiply the number of hours worked by our hourly rate. And here in the question, our hourly pay was what? 50 what? Cedis. Are we good? So if you want to find for your regular earnings, you multiply what? 40 hours by what? 50 what? Cedis. And what are we getting? So you multiply 40 by 50, we are getting 2,000. So our regular earning is what? 2,000 what? Cedis. Are we good? Great. And the question says his overtime what? Earnings. His overtime what? Earnings. So with his overtime earnings, the question says when he had worked overtime, he's going to be paid time and half. So for us to find for our overtime what? Pay per hour, you have to multiply the time and half, which is 1.5 or 1.5, by our regular rate, which was what? 50 cedis. Are we good? So you have to multiply the 1.5 by what? 50 cities for us to get our what? Overtime hourly what? Pay. Are we good? Great. So with this, when you multiply 1.5 by 50 cities, you are earning what? 75 per hour if you worked overtime. 75 cities per hour if you work overtime. But here's the case that since the question says he had worked 49 hours, 49 what? Hours. And then we know that our regular earning is 40 hours. If we want to find for his overtime hours, his number of hours worked, which was 49 hours minus the 40 hours, we are going to get what? 9 what? Hours. So this 9 hours is his overtime what? Hours. So if you want to find for his overtime earnings or his overtime pay, it's supposed to be what? His overtime pay is supposed to be 9 multiplied by his overtime per hour, which is 75 cedis. Are we good? Great. So if you multiply the 9 hours by 75 cedis, what are we getting? If you multiply the 9 by 75, we are getting 675. 675. So this becomes his overtime earnings, and this becomes his what? His regular what? Earnings. And the last question says that find for his gross earnings. So let me clean this formulas. Finding for his gross earnings. Finding for his gross earnings. So with his gross earnings, we know that our gross earnings is our what? Basic what? Pay, or our regular income. Basic pay plus our overtime what? Pay. Are we good? But here's the case that with this question, he is not only earning basic pay and overtime pay, he is earning a commission at the same time to a bonus. Are we good? So the question says he earns 5% commission on all sales above 8,000. We have already learned commission and how to calculate commission when they what exist. Are we good? Great. So with this, we are having a quota of 8,000. And then the question says he made a sale of what? 10,000. Are we good? So if you want to find for his commission before we come here, if you want to find for his commission is equal to what? Sales what? Since you were given quota, you have to multiply, you have to get sales minus quota. Are we good? Great. So you are finding for commission amounts, and we know that commission is sales times rate. So sorry, our commission amount is supposed to be sales minus quota, and we know that our commission is sales times what? Rate. Are we good? Good. So with this, if you want to find for our commission amount, so when quota doesn't exist, that's when you multiply the sales straight by the rate. But here quota exists, so you have to find for our commission amount. So our commission amount will be our sales minus our quota. Are we good? So what is our sales? Our sales was 10,000, and then our quota was what? 8,000. So subtracting it from 10,000, we are getting a figure of what? 2,000. Are we good? Great. So if you want to find for our commission will no longer be sales times rate, but it will be what? Commission amount times what? Rate. And our rate was given to be 5%. So the rate of commission was to be what? 5%. Right now we are having our commission what? Amount. Are we good? So our commission amount, as I said here, is no longer be sales but commission amount. So commission amount times rate. So our commission amount is what? 2,000, and then our rate is 5%. So if we are multiplying 2,000 by 5%, we are getting what? 100. So 100 becomes what? Our commission. And the question says that he will also earn a bonus on all sales. What was our total sales? Our total sales was 10,000. So with the 10,000, if you multiply the 1% by 10,000, what are we getting? If you multiply 1% by 10,000, you are getting a figure of also what? 100. Are we good? Great. So 1 by 10,000, we are getting, so bonus will be 1% by 10,000. We are getting what? 100 cedis. So if you want to find for your gross earnings, although you know that the formula is basic pay plus overtime pay, but you have to note that that is not the only thing that he is earning. He's also earning a commission plus a bonus. So it all have to go to be added to it. Are we good? So what is therefore our gross earnings? So our gross earnings first becomes our basic pay. Our basic pay was our regular earnings. We had what? 2,000 cedis. So 2,000 cedis plus our overtime pay. Our overtime pay, after multiplying the 1.5 by 50 cedis, we had our overtime what? Pay per hour. So if you had worked for 9 hours, we had what? 675. So plus 675 Ghana cedis. And we had a commission of 2,000. And then at the same time, we had commission to be 100. Sorry. Yes, we had commission to be 100, not 2,000. Sorry. So commission to be 100. And then we had our bonus to be also what? 100. So if we want to find for what? Our total earnings, we have to add what? Our 2,000 plus 675 plus 100 plus 100. And we are getting what? Our gross earnings. So 2,000 plus 675 plus 100 plus 100, we are getting what? 2,875 as our gross earnings. 875. So this becomes what? Our answers for the question. Are we good? Great. So this is how you have to go about it. You have to go about it. And with this too, with the overtime tax, you all know that they will give you, you have to find for your overtime pay. And then how do you find for your overtime pay? It is multiplied by 1.5 by the hourly pay that you are working. So you multiply 1.5 by 50 or any hourly pay that are going to give it to you. You are going to get your overtime pay per hour. Are you good? So after multiplying the number of hours you work as an overtime by the overtime pay per hour, we are getting this figure. So if the question says find for your overtime tax, it means that you have to multiply your overtime pay by your overtime tax. So already they are going to give you the tax rate. So maybe if it's supposed to be 5%, you just have to multiply your 675 times 5% to get your overtime tax. Are we good? Great. So this will bring us to the end of our lesson for payroll, and we will continue in the next video by solving the question to better our understanding. So this is grade 8 tutor. I'm in a person of Ajimai Derek. I will encourage you that you share the video and also recommend it to a friend for them to get a better understanding. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.